What's going on, guys? Apathettic here, and today I want to discuss why Warlocks could be looking a whole lot better in Season of the Worthy. Let's get into it. In the last couple this week at Bungie has been going over changes that we can expect on the sandbox to be coming in Season of the Worthy. And in this last one, something they talked about was Warlocks and overall subclass tuning across the board for all classes. And I'm going to go through that and talk about some things that stood out to me and why I think Warlocks are going to be good. And we're starting with the Warlock melee. So they start off by saying Warlocks long been at a disadvantage in melee fights because it takes them slightly longer than Titans and Hunters to recover from making a melee attack. So next season, we're extending the Warlock basic melee range by 1 meter to a total of 5.5 meters. So this is awesome right here, guys, because one of my biggest frustrations as a Warlock main has always been jumping into fights with Titans and Hunters and losing because they can just press a button essentially faster than I can, and their character instinctively reacts faster than mine can. And I think this change is actually might be a bigger deal than we think, because also in the previous this week at Bungie talked about how shotgun range essentially is being nerfed because they found a way to make the pellets more consistent, which is awesome. But I think what we could be potentially looking at with shotguns is that one hit kill range. You're gonna have to be a lot closer to consistently get that, and if that's the case, then having a follow-up melee with shotguns may be even more important than ever. So what I'm getting at here is with the Warlock melee range being increased, that will effectively, if shotguns perform how we think they might, increase our effectiveness in close quarters combat with a shotgun, which is pretty awesome. So you're gonna be able to shotgun from a little bit further out and get that melee off from a farther distance, even if someone else gets off a melee first, like a Titan or a Hunter, and maybe they'll have a quicker follow-up still. The fact that I can shotgun and I'm gonna have a better chance of my melee connecting from farther away is gonna make me as a Warlock a lot more effective in those close quarter scenarios. Something else I want to discuss when it comes to our Warlock subclass tuning is Handheld Supernova. So when I first made a video a couple weeks ago talking about how I felt it was too powerful and it should be nerfed, I had a lot of people coming into my comments on the channel saying, hey, if you nerf Handheld Supernova, Military Voidwalker will essentially be dead. There's no reason to use it. The super's trash. And you know, it just went on and on and on about how basically no one's going to use Warlock anymore or use that class because Handheld Supernova is the only reason to use it, which I said in and of itself tells me the ability is too powerful. And as we kind of suspected, Handheld Supernova is getting tuned. I'm not going to go over all the specifics of this change. I will put it on screen if you guys want to quickly review it, but I actually really like this change for a couple of reasons. One, they stated at the end of going over the changes that in their playtesting, it actually made it more effective, or Handheld Supernova more effective against supers, because they tightened the spread. So you're going to be able to do a more consistent damage in a smaller area, which again will be great for supers. So maybe it won't one-shot them, but it'll do enough damage to where maybe I can get a shotgun follow-up, or my teammates will be able to finish them off. And having anything that can do great damage against supers, especially for a mode like Trials of Osiris, is going to be huge. That's why weapons like Revoker are going to be very popular, ability to one-shot headshot supers. But going back to Handheld Supernova, I love that they made it stronger against supers, even if it was unintentional. The other thing I like about these changes though is that it seems that they're making it more skillful. You can't throw it from as far away. You can't like just body bump someone with Handheld Supernova charge and like take no self damage. So you do take self damage now, so you can't be quite as reckless either. So I like that they've made our one hit ability as a Warlock take more skill. That's something I've always enjoyed about playing Warlock, and the main reason I stay Warlock now is because there's so many Titans, so many Hunters, and it seems like everybody kind of plays these classes because either they enjoy them, but they also have very favorable abilities. So like Hunter has their dodge, which, you know, is its own kind of topic, but I like that Handheld Supernova is still going to be super powerful. But if I do get it off, it's going to be because of my decision making and having to aim it actually a little bit more. And so there's going to be skill involved with me actually getting a kill with my one hit ability. The last thing I wanted to touch on in this video is the changes coming to the Warlock subclasses, starting with Nova Warp. Because of the changes I talked about with Handheld Supernova, they are buffing back up Nova Warp, so it's going to increase damage resistance, a longer duration, and a reduced blink cost. All good across the board. I'm down for all those changes. I think it may bring that super back up to relevancy, which would be great, especially with the changes to Handheld Supernova. And if for whatever reason Handheld Supernova becomes like just borderline unusable, I don't see that happening, but it's nice to know they didn't just destroy Handheld Supernova and just leave the super the way it is. So hopefully the super will be a lot more viable. But something else I really liked is the changes they're bringing to Stormcaller top and the passes they're bringing on Voidwalker bottom. So Stormcaller top, they said they're changing because it has the highest essentially efficiency in PvP, and I don't know why that may be. It might be because of the chain lightning, I'm guessing, but I never felt like top tree Stormcaller was a huge issue. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully they're not too crazy with the changes and it's just kind of slight tuning and tweaking. But the thing I'm really interested in is the changes to Voidwalker bottom. Voidwalker bottom is the tree with Devour, with Supernova, with the Vortex. I love that tree. The only thing that kills me about that tree is the super is just terrible. The radius on it, you can't kill anything. It whiffs half the time, and it's not even because your aim is bad, it's just the travel time on it is so slow and the radius is so small. Back in D1, the radius on that thing was maybe a little too big, so I think finding a nice in between the D1 radius and D2 would be great. I would love to have that bottom tree Voidwalker become super viable option in PvP. Just to have that nice shutdown super to hold on to, especially in a trials match, was something I always enjoyed. Having a super that you could hold on to when the other team was holding on to their, I guess it would be Spectral Blades or Arc Strider or whatever. Having that is invaluable to shut down a team and shut down a super specifically. But also I'll be able to use things like Devour even more. So when I'm in trials and I get hurt and I want to go in for a res, I can pop Devour, get my health fully back, maybe get a kill and still have full health and hopefully be able to get my res. So I just see a ton of potential for bottom tree Voidwalker, and I think that's why just seeing that they're going to do another pass on that because it's underperforming gives me so much hope for that. And again, a lot of this is speculative. We haven't had a chance to play with any of these changes, but everything I've seen here seems to address things I had concerns about with the Warlock class in general. And I know a lot of you guys in my comments who are also Warlock mains felt Warlocks in general just underperformed compared to other classes, and I feel the same, honestly. There's so especially when I go and play on my Hunter, I go and play my Titan, you feel the difference in power and just how easy certain things are. And that's also a feather in my cap as like a Warlock, and why I love playing Warlock, because now I feel like I'm the underdog and now I have to go against these superior classes. But going into Season of the Worthy, I don't know if we're going to be able to say that for long. Again, we'll have to see how everything pans out, but I'm super excited about these changes. With that, guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And also, don't forget, I am now streaming over at Mixer, so at mixer.com/apathetic. I also have a link below to make it a little bit easier for you guys to get over there as well. But either way, any support is always appreciated, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
Opponent left. They don't stand a chance. The team is down. Fight in their stead. One opponent left. They don't stand a chance. Can you taste that? It's called victory. No beginners here. Be ready for anything. Your team is relying on you.
Guardian down.
Only one enemy remains. Don't let them catch their breath. Enemy team eliminated. Tell them to stay down.